Welcome to Headphones Hi-Fi Reviews. My name is Trev and I'm here to talk to you today about the Blon, specifically the Blon BL-01 seen in the box here. The Blon BL-03 is one I prepared earlier and I've reviewed this extensively not more than 6 weeks ago. We're going to put the two through their paces. We're going to give you a quick unboxing. We're going to explain to you why I review not just $5,500 earphones and headphones, but also $25 headphones and earphones. This is a totally different design in terms of the Blon BL-01 because the BL-03 is a down from the ear. So it dangles, it doesn't wrap around the ear, it's not necessarily an ergonomic fit for you runners out there, for instance. That said, it's very comfortable, but the shells are really quite heavy. The BL-01 is an around the ear design, so much more of a natural choice for you gym and running enthusiasts out there. The driver is a single driver for each of the models, but they are different. The driver for the BL-01 is a 10mm biofiber diaphragm, whereas there is a very slightly larger driver in this one. It's 10.5mm. In terms of the frequency response sensitivity and impedance, things are fairly much the same. There's not too much to worry about there technically in terms of a difference. The BL-03s have built-in cable. The Blon BL-01, however, is not only a replaceable cable, it's a QDC cable which has the plastic shielding around the two pins, so one gets the advantages of a two-pin connection, but a much more secure fit and a fit that is much less prone to damage, as the two very thin pins are protected by the shielding around them. I hope not many of you, but some of you will be rolling your eyes and will be saying, yet another $25 earphone. Why does the man bother reviewing $25 earphones? Well, there are many reasons why. Not everyone can afford a $5,500 headphone. There aren't many $5,500 headphones out there anyway, so if you're lucky enough to get one to review, your chances of being able to review another one, unless you are one of the top 10 reviewers in the world, is going to be quite limited. There are an awful lot more people listening to $25 earphones than there are $5,500 headphones. So I have a specific audience and marketplace to work for, which is entirely different from that of the $5,500 headphone, where many of us are looking at those reviews and dreaming, never thinking for a second that we'd be able to own them. However, with a $25 earphone, the chances of one being able to afford that are much higher. There are many more $25 earphones out there, and many more people are buying $25 earphones. However, compared to a $5,500 headphone and a $25 earphone, one cannot have everything. For $25, there have to be compromises, and this is where reviews are actually probably more beneficial than when we're talking about the ultra expensive, because we can tell you what the differences are, and you can make a choice based on what you think your preferences are. For instance, we could have a bass heavy monster, and for those of you who like hip hop, drum and bass, etc., and love your bass response above all else, that might be your choice. But for those of you who listen to acoustic, light pop, classical music, maybe you'll be looking for something with a bit more detail in it. Again, it's very difficult to strike that perfection with a $25 earphone. Compromises have to be made somewhere, and this is where the likes of Headphones Hi-Fi reviews. That's me. My name is Trev. I'm also known as Take an Idea. That's where people like us come in. Enough preamble, let's do an unboxing of these and we'll show you how they work. A nice electric blue as the second colour, which really stands out. It's slightly embossed. So, their logo, Let Music Burn. And as you can see, the driver shells at the bottom. And what I love about them straight away is we've got left and we've got right. That's going to make my life a bit easier, hopefully. That's the right one come out, and that's the left one come out. Put that to the left and that to the right for later. And here we have the cable. Chuck that down. And what do we have in this little box? So we have the usual tips. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of tips there. Oh, that is an addition to the BL-03, isn't it? Because we've now got a white cotton carry bag for the earphones, and the user manual. Let's unclip the QDC cable. I have the microphone version. You can get a non-mic version if you wish, and these come in 2 different colours, black and gun. That's that clipped in. And left into left, ensuring that the left logo and the right logo are facing the shell. That's better, isn't it? Come on, Trev, get it together. Okay, so there we have the left and the right logos facing where it says left and right on the shelves. A lovely fit, even though they're heavy. Not sure what they'll be like in the summer because it feels like there's a lot of metal around these. But at the moment, they do feel very snug indeed. So I've just dropped the cable, which is quite heavy, and I felt it. It hasn't moved the shells, as you can see, at all. You have to say, for a $25 earphone, that's a pretty good fit. I've been testing the 2 earphones against each other, and I've also been testing out the facilities of the hands-free button on both. And in fact, we have a surprise winner here, because the cheaper, earlier 03 model has a 3-touch microphone hands-free button, and we can change volume, we can play pause, and we can skip and do next and previous tracks on that one. Whereas with the 01 model, the supposed upgrade, we have a 1-touch button, which is simply play pause. Obviously both will work with your hands-free phone calls, no problem at all. I was very pleased to see that they both worked for play and pause at least, and worked with 100% success, because not every hands-free button on every earphone works with this setup that I've got. So I can't plug the earphones directly into the Xiaomi Mi 3 5G that I have here, but it does have a built-in DAC chip. So therefore what I've done is I've bought from Amazon a cheap adapter for them. So that's USB-C to 3.5mm. And as you can see, I've got the BLON BL-01 plugged in currently. We were talking about the fact that the BL-01 appears to be an upgrade and has been touted to be an upgrade to the BL-03. Well, these are non-detachable cables. These are detachable cables. These are a non-QDC connection. Of course, these are a QDC connection. These don't have memory wire. These do. These look a much cheaper, thinner cable than these, which are a double twisted braided cable. Very nice indeed. These are very heavy in the ears. These, although they are reasonably heavy, they're not as heavy and you don't feel them in your ears, and these fit a lot better. So in terms of the ergonomics and the technical side of how much money's been spent on each of them, then yes, clearly this would be an upgrade, but it's not quite as simple as that, because these two have a different sound signature. There's a different driver in this one than there is in this one. They're both single driver models. The tuning of these has been designed that they give quite a large bass response without being bloated bass, overly bloated bass, and without having huge amounts of slam. But there's a nice bleed into the mids, and the higher end range of the treble frequency brand is pulled back slightly. So with this you get a nice warm but less detailed sound than one gets with the BL-01. With the BL-01 you don't necessarily get huge amounts of bass. You get a linear, a more accurate type of bass response, but it decays, so it disappears quite quickly compared to the fact that it will linger slightly and come into the mids with the BL-03 compared to the BL-01, which offers one a more detailed look into the music. So we extend further up into the mid and treble range without there being an overly spiky high end. The type of sound that you're going to experience will take some getting used to, but your ears will adjust to it and your brain will adjust to it. These just go below that type of ringing, sort of distorted, cheap earphone sound. They're just below that threshold. So they shouldn't be too fatiguing for too many people. You shouldn't find it a point where you have to turn the volume down because it gets too much after half an hour of listening to fast-paced, energetic music. Not necessarily an upgrade, but we have a laid-back, warm sound. Almost a summer's day type sound. And then we have here a faster, more detailed sound. The BL-01, released later than its earlier brother, the BL-03. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this. I hope this has given you some insights as to what you can get for $25 or thereabouts. This is Headphones Hi-Fi Reviews. For now, signing off. You're going to put the washing machine on, aren't you?
Oh no, I can leave it later.
Well, I hopefully won't be too long. I'll pause.